Team reflection with the goal to improve future performance is often referred to as debriefing. As you watched the team from our crisis scenario debrief in the beginning of this section, what communication strategies did you notice? For this section, we will be focusing on team debriefing in the moments after a crisis, often referred to in healthcare as clinical event debriefing. We are going to discuss some of the key elements that contribute to an effective team debriefing. If good debriefing were a soup, then psychological safety, which we discussed in detail in Section 5 of this course, is the water used as a base for the broth. If things get too hot, you need to keep adding water or the soup will burn. But we also don't want a soup that is all water. Debriefing is there to extract the flavor from the experience. Remember, psychological safety is a dynamic and fragile construct. Strategies to cultivate safety are vital to optimizing the team's experience and learning from an event. Let's review the general concept of psychological safety and consider how this applies to debriefing. Amy Edmondson provides the definition that psychological safety is a shared belief that the team is safe for interpersonal risk-taking. Broadly speaking, the factors that may contribute to a feeling of safety include organizational culture. Think about your workplace. Do you feel safe to speak up without negative repercussions? Is it considered normal to speak up? Or maybe you're expected to speak up. Are there negative repercussions if you don't speak up? And how is this culture different in your office, in your division, your department, or in the corporate office? Team dynamics are also important. Despite organizational culture, specific interpersonal relationships can largely impact a person's sense of safety. It can sometimes feel less safe around specific people. For example, you might feel more inhibited around a supervisor, or less willing to share your vulnerabilities with somebody you already have some tension with. Your role on the team also matters, as does your role during the debriefing. For example, somebody who is the event leader for a crisis may not feel safe as a facilitator for the event debriefing. And similarly, the rest of the team may feel less comfortable sharing issues that could be seen as negative for the event leader, if that leader is also facilitating the discussion. Also, situational context greatly impacts reflection and debriefing. If a patient unexpectedly dies during an event, this will cast a very different shadow onto the discussion afterwards than if the outcome was expected or good. In the case of our crisis scenario, though there were some hairy moments, the patient was ultimately saved. However, it is still important to check what did go wrong, what could have gone wrong, and how will these errors be avoided in the next crisis. And finally, we need to consider personal factors. As we learned before, there are many factors that can affect our performance, such as halts and I'm safe, which we covered in depth in Section 2. These same factors can also influence how safe we feel being vulnerable in a debriefing situation. For example, when we are tired, we may not be in the mood to delve deeper into our own opportunities for improvement. Feeling safe to share is also symbiotically linked with how well we feel listened to. As the listener, practicing curiosity starts with silence and pauses that allow space for the sharer of information to really complete their thoughts on a topic. When you feel an urge to speak, it can be helpful to remember the 3 R's of being a good listener. First, reset. Acknowledge your initial feelings internally and avoid reacting. Second, regulate. Regulate your emotions. You can manage feeling defensive or threatened by, number 3, reframing. Start with the primary assumption. People have good intentions and want to improve. It's not personal. It must have taken courage for the speaker to speak up. Think, what can I learn from this comment? Now you are ready to listen with curiosity.